Today, we're diving into a really fascinating mystery surrounding one of the most recognizable athletes on the planet. Think about this for a second. At 20 years old, he wanted to become the best. By 30, he was chasing absolute perfection. But why does a man who has already won pretty much everything there is to win in his sport still compete into his 40s like he's got something left to prove? Let's find out.
It's a question we really need to ask, isn't it? We're talking about a guy with thousands of goals, just countless trophies, and literally decades at the very pinnacle of his profession. Yet Cristiano Ronaldo still hates losing with a fiery passion that is honestly hard for most of us to even comprehend. So, why does that fire still burn so incredibly hot?
Okay, let's dive right into this. He once described his drive for success with one very specific, incredibly powerful word: obsession. But here's the secret. He wasn't just born with this ironclad mentality. It was forged. It was forged by early childhood struggles, profound loneliness, intense competition, and some incredibly heavy criticism along the way. Picture this. At only 12 years old, he left his family in Madeira to move to Lisbon. The man who would eventually become a billionaire global superstar was once a desperately lonely teenager. He was literally going to McDonald's and asking for leftover hamburgers just to survive. For him, football wasn't just a fun game to play. It was an absolute lifeline. It was his one and only escape, his singular chance to completely change his life. And you know, that early desperation, it turned into pure, focused action. Former United assistant coach Mike Phelan and teammate Quentin Fortune noticed something really unusual about him early on. He wasn't just satisfied with being naturally gifted. He had this unbelievable, all-consuming desire to level up every single metric: his speed, dribbling, finishing, strength, fitness, and above all, his mentality. Arriving at United as an 18-year-old kid meant walking straight into a locker room packed with intimidating, no-nonsense veterans like Roy Keane and Ryan Giggs. Now, what's really interesting here is how we can track the exact crucible moments that built his mindset. Leaving Madeira at 12 was brutal. But then at 18, he faced the intense, uncompromising tough love of manager Sir Alex Ferguson. And then, looming at age 20, an unimaginable tragedy. These were the intense pressure points that basically created the diamond. Stop trying to prove that you're a superstar. That was Sir Alex Ferguson's blunt, incredibly harsh criticism after a poor, overly flashy performance against Benfica. According to Rio Ferdinand, this dressing down actually left the young Ronaldo in tears. But actually, scratch that. It didn't break him. Instead, it forged a defining relationship based on brutal honesty. He realized right then that he didn't need a manager telling him he was brilliant. He needed someone willing to tell him when he simply wasn't good enough. That honest feedback triggered a massive physical and psychological transformation. We watched him go from the skinny, flashy teenage winger into a strong, highly efficient, defense-destroying superstar. And the key was what he did behind closed doors. Ronaldo started training outside of normal hours because he firmly believed, he knew, that if anyone else was working harder than him, they were gaining an edge, and there was no way he was letting that happen. At just 20 years old, Ronaldo suffered a profound emotional turning point: the tragic loss of his father in 2005. Think about that. His dad would never get to see the incredible, record-breaking career his son was about to build. And this deeply fueled a fierce determination inside him. He couldn't bring his father back, right? But he could make his own life mean something. He could just keep winning, ensuring his biggest achievements would always honor his family. And this brilliantly illustrates the crucial difference in his mindset compared to pretty much everyone else. A standard professional player goes out there and asks, "How can I play well today?" Cristiano Ronaldo asks, "How can I win?" That obsession with winning was pushed to its absolute breaking point by his decade-long, stat-chasing, Ballon d'Or battling rivalry with Lionel Messi. They pushed each other to levels the sport had literally never seen, simply because neither guy could stomach being second best. People often mistake his extreme confidence for arrogance, but back in 2008, he revealed something telling: "Nobody is harder on me than myself." Beneath the flashy surface is just extreme competitiveness and ruthless self-criticism. His biggest opponent? It isn't actually the defender standing in front of him. It's the version of himself from yesterday.
It is an exhausting, relentless mentality, where every single missed opportunity or bad touch bothers him to his very core.
So, what's the ultimate result of that mentality? Five. 5 Champions League titles. He became the ultimate pressure player. When the stakes were at their highest in the biggest knockout matches, the quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, Ronaldo always demanded the ball. He completely embraced the immense pressure that makes other incredibly talented players hide.
And here is the most fascinating part of his psychology. It's this relentless loop. Step 1, win. Step 2, celebrate. Step 3, recover. Step 4, start again. For Ronaldo, scoring 40 goals or winning a massive trophy is never a finish line. It is simply a new starting point. You won the Champions League? Great, now go win it again. Prove you deserve it all over again.
It all really comes down to his very specific definition of discipline. It isn't just about showing up to practice on time. It's waking up and asking, what do I need to do today to give myself the absolute best chance of winning? So the crucial point is this. Talent might get you to the door, sure, but his legendary attention to elite fitness, his unmatched work ethic, and those rigorous recovery routines, that's what keeps him inside the room year after year. When his natural speed began to decrease, and the whispers started going around that he was finished, he absolutely refused to accept it. To extend his career, he completely flipped the script and adapted his play style. He transitioned from a wide winger to a central striker. He went from being an explosive dribbler to a lethal, highly calculated penalty box specialist. He basically traded raw speed for elite positioning and movement. He completely reinvented himself when most others would have just hung up their boots and retired. Ultimately, his motivation boils down to 2 simple words: not perfection, but progress. His true drive isn't about accumulating more money or fame or records. He's already got more of those than he could ever possibly need. It's about proving that the lonely kid from Madeira was right to dream big. It's the steadfast belief that yesterday's success is already in the past, and today's work still desperately needs to be done.
Failure never stopped him, but it really begs the question, could you pay the price of obsession? Because greatness has a painful cost. It means carrying the crushing weight of World Cup disappointments, agonizing missed penalties, and just relentless public criticism, yet still refusing to stop. Take a moment to really reflect on what it truly takes to be that obsessed with winning.